Back in the bathroom, gonna fix that hole in the wall up there. So let me show you how to do a real quick drywall patch if I haven't done so already.
Buckle up for safety as I give you a day in the life of online. No, not online. I'm actually there. Facilities maintenance.
So I've been saving this piece of 5/8 drywall, just a small rectangular shaped piece, in my drywall repair bin for just such an occasion as this. So what I did was center this over the hole and traced a line around it. Now I'm going to cut that out. Now, a bit of a gift. Normally in a sitch like this, I would take two pieces of 1x4 backing and I would put a piece across here and a piece across here, which allows me to screw in another piece. But here I don't really need to, in the sense that I have a stud right here. So I only need to put one piece of backing in on this side, and that'll be ample backing to be able to screw that patch in place.
And let's just get this screw out of the way.
If I can't find a piece of 1x4 over in my office, well, I know I said 1x4, but it actually doesn't have to be 1x4. It could be a piece of 2x4 for that matter. Just grab a piece of plywood, whatever. But if I don't have any in my office, I'll usually wander over to the shop here and grab something out of the junk bin.
And because I haven't hired a cameraman yet and I'm working one-handed, I'm presetting my screws so that I can put my piece of backing in, so that I can then put my piece of drywall in place.
Small detail, but when I screwed this patch piece in place, I made sure to lift it up so that I had spacing around the outside and not just have it resting on the bottom here. It'll make a better finish because I can pack mud in all the way around. Another small detail, I knew it was going to fit because after I traced my line around the patch piece, I cut on the outside of the line. So now the final thing that I'm going to do before taping and mudding is I'm just going to take my knife and back bevel the edge. And it might seem like a pretty small thing, but what this does is it creates the best opportunity for an invisible patch because I don't have any hard edges to contend with. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do this to the hole as well as the patch itself. This is something that can be done now, the way I'm doing it, or you could do it before you even put the patch in place. Your choice. Next up is taping, and for this job, because it's a small job, for the small patches I like to use this mesh tape. It stays where you put it because it's sticky on one side, it's easy to work with, and it creates a nice strong bond when I'm done. So now the last thing I need to do is just put mud in the crack, really. It should only take 2 applications if I'm lucky. The first one, really the goal is just to pack mud in between the patch piece and the wall. And then when that dries, I should be able to just do a nice thin skim coat over the top of that and finish up any last imperfections. So let's go for that first mud pack coat. Now I will do this one, or most of this one, with the small knife just to get it packed in there. And then after I've got it all packed in there, I'll do a skim over with my 12-inch blade. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna bring my larger knife and hit that. This is pretty good for a first coat, because like I said, the goal here is to pack mud in the cracks. And fully embed the tape in mud without building it up this way. And I've done that. So tomorrow I'll come back to this and do a final mud coat. And when that's dry, it'll be ready for paint. Well, it's been a couple days and that is looking pretty good. You can see, well, maybe you can't see from here. Let me give you a closer look. You can see how the mud has just been kind of sucked down into the gap, which is just fine. I'm going to give it just a light little sanding right now to knock down some of these higher spots. And then I'm gonna put a nice big mud layer covering the whole thing. And then hopefully that's the only mudding I will need to do. Really, I'm just concentrating on the high spots here, the sharp edges around the edge. I actually want to be careful. I'm applying more pressure on the tip here and just letting this kind of float back here. I don't want to dig into the fiber tape at all, really. That's all I need to do. Okay, now I'm gonna mud this. Now, my first step, I'm just going to make sure I've got good fillage at the seam, at the joint, at the part where the wall meets the patch. For my next pass, and I like to use as wide a blade as possible, I've got my 12-inch knife here. I'm going to try and make a nice uniform coat over the whole thing, feathered at the edges. Now, granted, this can take a little bit of practice. I've used a drywall knife quite a bit over the years, and so you sort of develop a touch. But I've got a nice wide coat that feathers out all the way around, goes well beyond the actual patch point, and hopefully, now it's different from different muds shrink more than others. Hopefully this doesn't shrink too much and the seams don't show up at all. And if we're good, tomorrow I can come back and just do a light sanding and it's ready for paint. So time will tell. I think we'll be good though. It looks pretty good right now and I'm happy with where we're at so far. So, as far as this project goes, I'll see you tomorrow.
So while we're waiting for that to dry, let's move on over to the other side of the bathroom where I have yet another partition repair to do.
I'm kind of done messing around with this partition here because the more it moves, the more it damages the tile. So I've gone in with a 1/2-inch bit through the tile, and now I'm putting toggle anchors in the holes. So once I've got all of those set, I can snap all of them off because they are now ready to receive the anchor bolt. Which are right here. I think I need 7 of them. Okay, this is really weird. These things come in 2 sizes. They come in 3/16 and 4/16 or 1/4 inch. I bought the 1/4 inch size. Look at this. It says 1/4 inch right on the box. And I'm counting out these bolts thinking to myself, they look kind of small. And if you look at these toggles, they all say 3/16 on them. So they have been misboxed. Now they're the same price in the store for the 1/4 inch or the 3/16. That doesn't matter, but I drilled the holes out on this bracket to 1/4 inch based on what it said on box. Now the nice thing about these type of toggle bolts regardless of what size is written on the box, is that the plastic piece, as the two pieces that are attached, allow you to manipulate the plate into position, and then not just stick it in and then turn it this way, but pull it back and then cinch it down so that it is tight up against the back side, which is really nice actually in terms of installation, because I can just slip all these in now. I put this one in and I tightened it to hold the bracket in place. And now I can just slip all these in and finger tighten them into place, and then put my driver on there and tighten them up very securely when I'm done. All right, this bracket is anchored to the wall through the tile. It is super strong. It won't move. So this, while it's not yet attached to here, once I bolt this into here in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations, and then I take a little dab of epoxy and I just dab the screw head of each one, preventing any tampering, this will be rock solid. Well, from here it looks good. Funny, it's little bubbles here. Again, it's this mud. You can't tell from the video, but with my sanding block here, I'm actually not putting any pressure on the top side. All the pressure is on the bottom side, because what I'm wanting to do is feather out this along here. And as I'm working around the edges, I'm putting the pressure on the outside here, not so much in the middle. And yeah, I'm so close to being done. You want to be careful not to over sand as well. Very lightly I'm doing this just to knock down the high spots. But you know, I'm not a fan of this mud. It came out of the tub way too wet. It does bubble and it shrinks, which is too bad. I'm going to have to take, it might not show up here, but there it is. You see that little, see the fiber tape through there. There are some tiny little grooves around the edge, these little bubble pits in here, and just a couple little small things here. I know it's a bathroom, and I know that from down on the floor you may not actually see the imperfections, but while they don't show up much now, as soon as you hit this with paint, any imperfections actually will show up. So I like to take the time to do it properly, and by time I mean this really, it'll take me 2 minutes to mud this little bit, and the time is just the waiting. So by the end of the day, this will be painted. I just gotta go grab a bit of mud right now to touch up these small areas. Well, we've been here before. This time it's just gonna be little bits of touch up here and there. said, it's hard to see. Well, that's got it. When that dries, I can just dress it very lightly with a sanding block. I'll be ready for paint. We'll let that dry and call it a day. This was a super simple, quite short video, but I hope there were a few little things that you picked up along the way so that it might help you out. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.